The Nightbeat starts right now.
Is there any way right now, was there a way for Mystic at 2 a.m. to tell you we have water at our ankles?
State lawmakers asking the tough questions as they look into how leaders responded to the Hill Country floods. Plus, a local mother speaking out after her son was hurt during a trip to the San Antonio Aquarium. And tonight we start here. Where were you? What took so long? Did we have everything we needed? Those questions have been looming since July 4th and the floods that killed at least 135 people across Texas. Today, state lawmakers held a committee on disaster preparedness because they wanted to know how Hill Country leaders responded to the crisis and also how that response could have been improved. Our Steve Spriester was in Kerrville all day, and he shows us what happened.
A lot of tough questions for Kerr County officials today, including about a slow response and some questions about where they were when all this happened, including questions from Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Patrick and House Speaker Dustin Burrows put together this special hearing. KSAT, the only San Antonio station that was there when they talked during the hearing about what they were hearing from Kerr County officials. Take a listen.
What, if any, system is there available for Kerr County officials to hear from campsites on the river in a flood zone to better coordinate, to send out a warning? Is there any way right now, was there a way for Mystic at 2 a.m. to tell you we have water at our ankles?
So there were a number of National Weather Service alerts that went out that evening.
I'm not asking about the national weather because that's prediction. I'm talking about the reality on the ground of little girls in their bunks with water around their feet at 2 a.m. Did you have any idea that that was happening? And was there a mechanism in place? Because if it's happening at Camp Mystic, you've got every other camp in this recreational zone at risk. What was the protocol in the process to warn people when that scenario comes up?
To my knowledge, we were not notified that the girls had water in their camp.
No evacuation orders were ever given in Kerr County. They were in Kendall, they were in others, not here in Kerr County. The Lieutenant Governor and the Speaker of the House also very clear that this is just part of the process, and they want to get to emergency legislation, saying it's their #1 priority this special session. In Kerrville, Steve Spriester, KSAT 12 News.
So lawmakers also heard from plenty of testimony from the many families who have been affected by the Hill Country floods. Several panels of Hill Country neighbors, tourists, and parents of campers along the Guadalupe River, they lined up to speak. Many told the committee how their lives have been forever changed. Just listen to what two people told KSAT.
All of Bumblebee Hills is alive, but we have no roof over our head. We've been going from temporary shelter to temporary shelter. It's going to take a long time for us to recover from this mentally, a long time, and my heart goes out mostly to these moms because I can relate.
It was around 8 p.m. when I was reunited with my sons, and I mean, it was a bittersweet moment that doesn't even come close to describing it, but I immediately felt this mix of gratitude and guilt at the same time. I was so happy to hug my kids, but I knew already that so many other parents weren't going to be hugging their kids that night and maybe ever again. And it was really hard, and it still is really hard to juggle those two emotions at the same time.
Members of the Disaster Preparedness and Flooding Committee are expected to begin drafting legislation aimed at improving flood prevention measures in the future. In other news tonight, San Antonio police arrested a woman for child sex abuse. And here's the thing, they're worried that there could be more victims. We want to show you 39-year-old Crystal Candia. Police arrested her after someone found child sex abuse material showing a child that Candia had access to. Candia faces a federal charge of sexual exploitation of children and also a state charge of continuous sexual abuse of a child. But investigators, as I told you a moment ago, are worried that there are more victims. So they're asking parents to call SAPD's Special Victims Unit if their child has ever been near Candia. And that number's on your screen. It's 210-207-2313. A San Antonio police officer has also been arrested for allegedly being drunk on the job. The department says that Officer Paul Fensick was taken into custody for driving while intoxicated. And according to SAPD, Fensick, who has been with them for 18 years, has been on administrative duty. They say that they're conducting a criminal and an administrative investigation. According to a KSAT analysis, Fensick is the third San Antonio police officer to face legal trouble so far this year. We're also hearing from Police Chief William McManus tonight. He released a statement where he said, quote, "I am deeply disappointed that an officer would choose to drink and drive. This behavior represents a clear violation of the public's trust and the standards of conduct expected from those in our department." The chief also requested that the investigation be expedited so that the department can begin the termination process. Switching gears right now, 10:05. We're talking rain chances, Adam. We're feeling that humidity, but I'm wondering if the rain is around the corner.
Well, we're going to start off August with both triple digits and rain chances. Usually you don't get the latter there, but we do it will tomorrow. By the afternoon, I think especially from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., that's our sweet spot for some scattered or widely separated pop-up downpours that'll head our way. One of the factors is this boundary off to the north. You see some showers and thunderstorms along it earlier today. That's going to drop southward along with some slight upper level support. I've got the latest Futurecast. We're going to go over it and talk more about the coverage in just a bit.
Adam, thank you for that. A local mother speaking out after an aquarium trip gone wrong. She wants accountability after an octopus latched onto her son's arm and just wouldn't let it go. Look at that video. We're about to show it to you. On July 14th, Brittany Taryn and her son Leo went to the San Antonio Aquarium in Leon Valley. And she says that during the octopus encounter, the animal grabbed onto his arm and it left all of those purple spots that you see right there. Took it 3 employees, 5 minutes to get the animal off of him.
How far up did you have the suction marks on?
All the way in my armpit.
Yeah, all the way from like your wrist all the way to your armpit. It was all over. And I started to see that his arm was purple with little suction hickeys.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. Leo's adorable. We're glad that he's okay, but this isn't the first time that the San Antonio Aquarium has been at the center of a controversy. Since its opening in 2014, the business dealt with a number of issues, including animal theft, code violations, safety concerns, also temporary closures. You can read more about the San Antonio Aquarium's past right now on KSAT.com. Just look for this article. They're not police officers. That's the city of San Antonio's response to the San Antonio Park Police Officers Association. And this comes after that group filed an amended lawsuit against the city, saying that it wants park police officers to have the same rights and privileges as police officers under state law. So the group is seeking $25 million. The lawsuit follows the city's 2008 decision to merge the park and airport police into the police department.
We answer the same type of calls. We are on the same radio channels. We do the exact same reports. We write the exact same tickets. There are some policy differences. That means don't do this or don't do that or go here or go there.
So the city is releasing this statement in response, saying, quote, "While the city respects the work of our parks and airport police, by training and qualification, they are not San Antonio police officers." And they continue to say, quote, "The city has been working to resolve this matter, including recent mediation. The amended complaint does not aid that effort." As city council members consider exactly how much money should go into a new downtown sports arena, the big question is what San Antonio gains from all of this? Well, a research company called Conventions Leisure Sports and Leisure International looked into all this. They conducted an analysis which looked at the economic impact of Project Marvel, not just a new Spurs arena. And it estimated that between new spending, jobs, tax revenue, Project Marvel could add $18.7 billion of new economic output over 30 years. But economists, not so sure about those numbers.
Even a perfectly well done economic impact study is still useless. It gives you no information about trade-offs.
It's hard to believe that the facilities are going to be doing 60, for example, concerts every year for the next 3 decades.
For this report in particular, economists said that the methodology lacks some detail, but city council members are going to decide whether to consider this report as they consider the project in the future. You know what else is a project? Getting your kids to actually put down their phones, because you can expect them to push back. But here's an idea. Jessica Knudsen of the Clarity Child Guidance Center says that you should create some kind of a contract with your child so that you can set clear rules about screen time. And that way, your kiddos understand what you expect of them.
As with everything else with your child in terms of the bedtime and not having in the room and setting those parameters for your kids. I think that the contract is a great idea because it takes the argument out of the equation. If you've agreed that these are the hours you can use it, this is where the device is going to get charged, it's not available from this time to this time, setting that structure and again having the conversation before the device is in their hands and setting really clear boundaries helps to just take some of the air out of the argument when it does come up.
You just heard a portion of today's KSAT town hall. If you want to hear that full interview, you could head on over to ksatcommunity.com. Now stay right where you are, because still ahead, San Antonio has spent hundreds of millions of dollars protecting the Edwards Aquifer, but one decision could flush all that money and effort down the drain. Also, a community theater says that construction work in their area is slowing down ticket sales. Our Avery Everett speaks with the people at the Magic Theater. Up next. A San Antonio theater is asking for help. It says that it's not selling as many tickets because of construction. So the staff at Magic Theater say that they've lost, listen to this, $300,000 since the start of since the South Alamo Street construction project. The night team's Avery Everett shows us their plan to draw crowds in, even with their street shut down.
The sounds of South Alamo Street aren't ones you'd expect at a San Antonio theater.
Jackhammering and clangs and beeps.
But on this street near Hemisphere, it's hard not to hear this noise.
It makes it very difficult to plan for the future whenever we know that there's another 12 months of this.
Down the street, it's easy to see where Magic Theater is, but getting there is an entirely different story. This stretch of South Alamo Street has been shut down for construction for years, and the theater says it's impacted ticket sales.
The shortfall is $300,000 in earned revenue that we'll never see as a result of the construction outside our doors.
And what would that money have meant to Magic?
It would have created some sustainability.
Magic Theater is a nonprofit, and the city of San Antonio owns its building.
Concession stand.
Their mission is to create a space of belonging through family-friendly performances. This graph, sent to us by the theater, shows the impact construction has had on its sales, and it's a downward slope. Remember, South Alamo Street construction has had its share of delays. This project started back in 2022. In a statement, District 1 Councilwoman Suk Kaur said in part, "I'm actively pushing Public Works and the contractor to speed up the South Alamo project. These delays are unacceptable and have deeply hurt local businesses."
The San Antonio community has shown up for us before. We're hoping that the San Antonio community shows up for us in this way.
Magic Theater is about to start its 2025-2026 season. The easiest place to park is at the Hemisphere Garage, just a 5-minute walk away.
We hope that our community will believe in magic.
It may not be music to the ears, but Magic Theater says it's determined to stay open. And it's hoping San Antonio will be there to support. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
So the city says that construction along that road and sidewalk next to the Magic Theater and Hemisphere is being prioritized. Pedestrian traffic is expected to reopen on part of Alamo Street by September. Other news now, San Antonio taxpayers, you, have spent around $351 million to protect the Edwards Aquifer, where we get our water. But a proposed wastewater treatment plant could see all of that money go to waste. So how is that money spent? Well, the Edwards Aquifer Protection Program buys up easements along the aquifer, preventing development that could contaminate the water. But the Guajalote Ranch development, which plans to build up to 3,000 homes in northwest Bexar County, would require a wastewater plant. And neighbors in the area and also researchers say that that treated wastewater would go right into the aquifer and potentially make the water undrinkable for all of us. So we've reached out to Lennar Construction multiple times regarding the impacts to drinking water, but we haven't heard back. And I'm looking 1017 or 1018 right now, 90 degrees.
Yeah, welcome to almost August, right?
Yes.
A few hours from August.
Yikes.
And climatologically speaking, August is the hottest period of time in San Antonio. And we're going to kick it off with some temperatures at triple digits, not necessarily the first couple of days, but next week, we're going to be feeling that triple-digit heat again, and we did today. Actually, we'll get to some of that in just a bit. I want to talk about our futurecast first, and I mentioned the frontal boundary dropping southward. Don't get excited when I say frontal boundary. It's basically a mechanism to help use and utilize the instability that we'll have in our atmosphere, which isn't a lot in the first place, but still enough to kickstart some showers tomorrow and then some little bit of upper level support. As early as 2 o'clock, we could have a little bit of action popping up on the radar screen. As usual, don't pay attention to the exact location of the computer model's rendition of where the showers will pop up. But what I think is good here is the representation of coverage. Widely separated, definitely not everybody getting it, but a few communities here and there through the afternoon, especially between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. And I think odds especially favor, and this is a rough line though, but especially favor along and north of Highway 90 tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, there could be a few little south of Highway 90. I'm just saying generally speaking, it's not a hard defined line, but most of that activity likely along and north of Highway 90 and in parts of the hill country, but luckily we're not worried about flooding with this situation. There's going to be a decent amount of moisture in the air, but it's unlikely that these showers would last long enough to cause that. So there's that frontal boundary. You see it activated some showers earlier today. Weak upper level swirl that's drifting westward overhead. The Big Blue H upper level high, it's off to our west in northern Mexico, and it's going to park itself in New Mexico as we get into next week. Now that gives us this northerly steering flow, the steering winds aloft, and that always means we have to watch the North Texas wild card, where sometimes in these situations, there's no indications of this happening yet, but we know through our experience that sometimes clusters of storms come together in North Texas and then can push our way. So we have a 10% chance just in case as we get into next week. Here and there, a 10% chance. That's really one of those game time nowcasting situations rather than forecasting. 40% chance tomorrow, 30% chance Saturday. New drought monitor is in. No big changes, but most of the improvements over the past few weeks have been Maverick County, now just considered abnormally dry. And the amount of exceptional drought has shrunken quite a bit. 20% of the state in drought. 101 the high temperature today. That marks our 6th 100-degree day so far this year. 99 tomorrow afternoon with those widely separated showers and storms off to the west in the typically hotter spots, triple digits, and then at 30% chance Saturday, so 97 degrees. Next week, we'll be tallying up the triple-digit days.
I don't even want to look at that anymore. Get it off the screen.
Let's go to sports.
Apparently,
There you go.
Jaden Blue is the one to watch.
Yeah, he is a rookie out of the University of Texas, and this young man can certainly fly. He's got some wheels, and he's doing so well at training camp. Shoddy gave him one heck of a compliment today. And Richard Torres from Southside High School is trying to earn QB1 with UIW. Coming up.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Thomas J. Henry.
The Dallas Cowboys drafted running back Jaden Blue in the 5th round out of Texas, and this rookie can flat out fly. He's built for speed, and once he hits the second level, he's very tough to catch. Blue has impressed so much at training camp, he's now getting some first-team reps. Brian Schottenheimer compared Blue to a Super Bowl winning running back.
The quickness and acceleration of Darren Sproles, and I don't use that lightly. I mean, Darren was freaky with his quickness and acceleration and speed, and I think Jaden has some of those traits in terms of just he's electric when he gets the ball. And what I really like about him more than anything is probably the way I see him working in between the tackles. You know, he's not just a perimeter player. He's a guy that can run in between the tackles in the A gaps with gap schemes, things like that, and still be extremely productive.
Today was Heroes Appreciation Day at Dallas Cowboys training camp to honor military personnel and first responders. Shoddy, Dak, and the entire team acknowledged those men and women to thank them for their service. Safety, C.J. Gardner-Johnson is in his first season with the Houston Texans, and he also brings Super Bowl experience with them winning it all with the Eagles. Last season, C.J. was asked, what's it like covering the Texans wide receivers Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, and rookies Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel every single day at practice? And C.J. says the Texans can push the pedal to the metal.
Like the Daytona 500, we running fast every play. Everybody fast, all the cars competing for first place. We got a fast receiving corps. I'm just gonna be honest, it's probably one of the fastest corps I done seen. But they're a dynamic group with different skill sets. They're diverse, and they understand that CJ needs him. Well, they need CJ, and CJ needs them, and they work very well in practice. And we have our days. They win some, we win some. But today, we got the best of the NASCAR group. Thank you.
The Texans they've revamped their wide receiving room, and CJ just put the NFL on notice. Third-year Incarnate head football coach Clint Killa will be calling the plays now that his offensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons, Connor McQueen, got the opportunity to join Pete Carroll's staff with the Las Vegas Raiders. Before we see that, though, Killa must decide who his starting quarterback will be for the upcoming season. The battles are between a pair of redshirt freshman Purdue transfer E.J. Colson, Wyoming transfer Deion Batiste, and redshirt junior Richard Torres from Southside High School. This morning, KSAT 12 Sports' Mary Rominger spoke with the Southside great.
Yeah, bringing it back to his Southside High School days, a 3-star recruit out of San Antonio. Richard Torres was about 40 pounds lighter and saw his time at Nebraska cut short due to a knee injury he sustained his senior year at Southside. But that was never going to be the end for Torres.
College has been a long time for me. I've been in there for almost 4 years now, and so just taking it day by day and stepping up. And when my number is called, I like to be ready and prepared.
Richie's a big kid with a great arm. He has a really high football IQ. He's got charisma. He's a natural born leader. And he's actually fairly nimble on his feet for a big guy.
He's been here your entire tenure. Why is that important?
Yeah, I mean, football is a relationships game. It always will be. No matter what goes on off the field, it will always be a relationships game. And again, I mean, this is year 3. I've been around Richie for a while. I've been with him on good days. I've been with him on bad days. And when you're around people that long, you got to make a decision on whether you like them or not, I guess. So me and Richie got a great dynamic, and I'm thankful for our relationship.
Me and Clint have a strong bond just because we communicate. We're real open with each other. Whenever something's going wrong, he just lets me know, and I get it done. And same thing, vice versa. Like if I see something within the offense or even within the team, I kind of just communicate back with him, and we go back and forth. And yeah, we could just having that open relationship with him is good.
Mary Rominger, KSAT 12 Sports. Back to you, Larry.
Thank you, Mary. SAFC wants to finish better after the break.